Welcome to the Shore Show here on GGR Radio. I'm Pat O'Melia, and this is our debut show with the Shore Show. We'll be filming this, taping this, recording this, whatever you want to call it, on the Franklin Street stage here in Seaside Heights. We would be doing that today, but the problem we have is that they're renovating the stage. They're putting new guardrails, all safety improvements, all these things are going on there, and so that is preventing me from getting up on the stage. So right now, I'm doing this show out of a garage. What is dangerous is, first off, I'm working with a lot of new equipment. Been a long time since I have hosted the show solo and worked with this equipment. And I'm trying to learn on the fly here. Probably should have brought some assistants down with me. But the problem, my assistants would be up in North Bergen, New Jersey, 87 miles away. So it's a little tough to drag these people down here to do a radio show. But we will be doing that somewhere along the line, probably as soon as possible, because I think I'm messing this up as it is. But what the purpose of the show here is, we want to bring you up to date on everything that's happening here in Seaside Heights. We want to encourage you to come down to Seaside Heights for a day trip, overnight, weekend, week stay. There's a lot of options here in Seaside Heights when it comes to lodging. You got motels, you got the rentals, for that matter. My daughters have an Airbnb rental here in Seaside Heights. For that matter, I'm in their garage right now, recording the show. There's a lot you can do. There's a lot you can save. And really, Seaside Heights fits into any budget. You got some of the motels here that are $80 a night, $85 a night. You can get an apartment, complete apartment with off-street parking down here for $180 a night. I think that's what my daughter gets for the apartment here in Seaside Heights. It's 2 blocks away from the boardwalk. It is close enough to enjoy the boardwalk and the beach, and far enough not to have to live it. But there are huge one-family homes. There's townhouses. You can really stay at whatever level you want to stay and whatever your budget will sustain. You can do it here in Seaside Heights. But listen, I'm going to break for commercial. Hopefully these commercials air and you can hear them. We'll be right back.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
All right, I'm back. I think I'm having a problem with commercials here. I don't see those playing through the breaks. I'll try that again as I fool around with these switches here. As I was saying before, I know I'm coming through, but my commercials aren't. As I was saying before, you can stay at Seaside no matter what budget you have. There's a lot of parking options. Of course, you got on-street parking. I think it's like $3 an hour to park here on the street. You got the private lots that you can park into. There's the casino pier. They have the wristband specials for the rides. Probably the best feature on the boardwalk is the Beachcomber. Slice of pizza there. It's pretty competitive, like with Jersey City. It's like $5 for it. Let me explain. It's $5 for a slice at the Beachcomber, but it is a humongous slice. It is a huge slice. So that's one of the great things about the Beachcomber, and it's really one of the more affordable places that you can eat up on the boardwalk. So when you're there at the Beachcomber, it's affordable. The food is good. You get served quickly there. You got live music at night. You got the DJs. There's always music playing there, and it's so many options on the boardwalk for food. You got the ocean view. You got JR's, you got Maruca's tomato pies, you got candy. There's no lacking for food. The Dante's moved. They're down further on the northern part of the boardwalk. They were a staple in the middle of it there, right by the Aztec. There's so many options. And coming down like today, the Parkway's in pretty good shape coming down. I'm from Jersey City. You come down from Jersey City today, you could get down here in about an hour, 15 minutes. If you have a good fuel-efficient car, the prices of fuel have dropped. The gallon regular in Jersey City is $1.85 right now. Those prices are starting to come down. And yeah, the price of groceries are coming down. As I was saying on the city show that I host out of the North Bergen studio, about a month, 2 months ago, so it was for a dozen jumbo eggs, it was like $5.99. Now it's $3.99. So the prices are coming down. Now, if you're coming down to Seaside Heights and you're staying for a week, the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to get an efficiency apartment or an apartment like my kids have that they rent here. You can go to ShopRite, or you go to the Acme and Seaside. You load up with all your supplies that you're going to need to make it through the week there. And it's expensive. Listen, nothing's cheap on the boardwalk, but there are degrees of expensive there. Like I said, the beachcomb is very reasonable. Some of the places aren't. You want to enjoy the boardwalk and the beach as much as you possibly can, but you want to still live within a modest budget. So you want to go to ShopRite. There's a ShopRite on Fisher Boulevard just before you get into Seaside, just before the Mathis Bridge. You go there, you get all your supplies. You get your hamburgers. If you're barbecuing here at the kids' place, they got a barbecue that you can use. You get your cold cuts, whatever you're going to have. Yeah, you want to stop. You want to get the pizzas and the cheesesteaks up on the boardwalk. But you want to be able to stretch your dollar. So you want to do some cooking at home, or at least make some sandwiches and have your breakfast there. It's a balancing act, and there's more when you come to Seaside. If you're coming down here, there's more than just the boardwalk. There you have the in Ocean County. There's so many things. There's the planetarium. They got a great library here. You got the movie theater. If it's raining, which is just a killer when you're down here and it starts raining on you. But here on Route 37, right off of St. Catherine Road, you got the big cinema. You can get your tickets on Fandango there. I'm talking about reasonably priced food. You got Fortune Buffet. It's like the anchor tenant of that mall where the cinema is. And Fortune Buffet is an all-you-can-eat buffet. Chinese, mainly Chinese food, but a lot of American French fries, pizza. Yeah, there's something for everybody there. And it's like $16 for all you can eat for dinner. $16. And I think you pay for your first, like you have a soda. I think the first soda is like $3. After that, you can swim in soda. It's free. Children, it's I think it's 80 cents for each year. So if the kid's 10 years old, you're paying $8. So it is very reasonable. And like I said, you have the theater. You got a frozen yogurt place that doesn't open until 3 o'clock. The guy misses out on all the lunch. You got a Pizza 37 there. There's a lot of places you can eat in just in that mall there. But the best deal is definitely a Fortune Buffet, and the service is good. The people that work there, they're cheerful. It's clean. I never counted. I bet they got about 8 different buffet stations there. They got a sushi bar. They have the sushi chefs there. It's amazing that it's only $16. If you were having a birthday party, where you go to these birthday parties and it's like $25 a head or so, you could go into Fortune Buffet and bring your whole birthday party and pay with the sodas like $20 or $19 a head, and it is cake and it's ice cream stations. It's amazing. Wish we had something like that up in Jersey City. Yeah, I go to Tokyo Hibachi and Sea Caucus often when we go to the movies there. That's my deal. I go to the movies, then we go to the buffet. But when I'm in Seaside Heights, I make it a plan to go to Fortune Buffet. The people are good. Alex and Amy and the rest of the gang there. And the same thing with Tokyo Hibachi. But Tokyo Hibachi is about $26 a person. But it's all you can eat also, but not the selection of food that you have at Fortune. So you can come to Seaside Heights and you can stretch your dollar. Enjoy the boardwalk, get the pizza up there, get the cheeseburgers, get the cheesesteaks, all that stuff going on. Enjoy all that and still be able to afford the trip. You can go right on Route 37, right over the Mathis Bridge again. You got the Burger King, you got the McDonald's, you got the Kentucky Fried Chickens, you got the Gal. It's a new diner there. You can stop there and have dinner. There's so many things, ways you can stretch your dollar. There's the Tom's River Diner. if you plan it, you can have a really nice vacation and not digging deep into your pockets. And that's the deal here in Seaside Heights. You can make it through a week down here without going broke. All right, let's try again with commercials. I'm going to see if I got this right here. But you're listening to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition. I'll be right back.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Okay, we're back. You're listening to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition here. I'm Pat O'Melia. Let's talk about a few other things. The weather is excellent today. Air quality alert, so you're in good shape that way. We're getting a lot of Canadian smoke down here. That was one of the problems that we've been having. And that's been causing... And the last couple of days have been moderate, but then it's getting a little past the moderate level. But right now, air quality is good. You're in the 80s here today. The humidity is low. You got nice blue skies with big fluffy clouds up there. So if you're thinking of it, if you're sitting here in Jersey City or Union City or in Edison right now thinking, should I take a ride down to Seaside? You should be taking a ride down to Seaside. Because right now, the weather is excellent. But let's talk about a few other things. Talk a little politics. We got the governor's race. We got Mikey Sherrill, as everybody calls the helicopter lady, and Jack Citarelli, who is opposing her on the Republican side. Right now, the most recent poll that's come out had Mikey Sherrill leading Jack Citarelli by 6 points. My problem with polls in New Jersey, they haven't been accurate for a long, long time. I mean, a long, long time. The last race with Citarelli and Murphy, Citarelli was down by 22. I think he was supposed to be down by 22 points, and he lost by about 2-3 points. The Trump presidential election back in November, with Harris, was every poll, Harris. If you listen to my city show, I was saying, or going into election day, if Trump was within 3 or 4 points of Harris on election day, he was going to win. And sure enough, he was within 3 or 4 points. But the polls are always wrong. And in the case of Trump, he polls poorly. And in Jersey, I don't know what the problem is when they start polling for Republicans, also when they had any Trump aspect to it. The polls are usually way off. And I think that's going to be the case. I think this is going to be a close one. This is one of those 2% races between Citarelli and Mikey Sherrill, and it's going to come down to I think it comes down to independent voters. I think that's what's really going to come down to. I think it's going to come down to kitchen table issues. One of the things, the electric bills, you got, especially down here in the Seaside Heights area, people are talking about where last year they had an electric bill with $66. This year it's at the same month. As last year, it's like $340, so it's really expensive. What failed there? And they just did a poll where who the New Jersey residents blame for the increases in electrical fees, and they blame the electrical companies, of course. But really, New Jersey has screwed up their energy plan. I guess since Murphy became governor, we went so heavy into the solar and the wind power and closing nuclear plants and not permitting generating plants to come online. Now, up in North Jersey, again, I'm from Jersey City, we had an opportunity for a natural gas electric generating plant powered by natural gas in North Bergen. And I was shot down because of isn't environmentally correct. No, it would have been fine. These things are they burn clean now. Even the coal plants burn clean now. Yeah, that's one of the things that people don't understand. It's not like the old days. These things, are really clean burning for the most part. I'm not going to say they're 100%. Nuclear is 100%. Yeah, we had an opportunity to have another natural gas generating plant in Kearney, New Jersey, and that was turned down also. It would have a very small minority of people, but Governor Murphy was very favorable to the small minority of people and the green scheme and all that. Real green scam, if you get down to me. And now here we are paying these ridiculous electrical fees, and it's only going to get worse because we're not generating electric, so we have to buy it. And that's the problem. We're not generating the wind. Listen, probably not in my lifetime or a few other lifetimes will wind or solar be a reliable source of energy. It could be a contributor, but it's not going to be the main one. You're still going to need the gas. You're going to need nuclear, the coal, because everything is electric. You look at the difference now on your electrical needs as they were, say, 20 years ago, night and day. And we keep pushing it even further. Even bikes. The bikes aren't even bikes anymore. They're e-bikes. Everything's an e-bike now. So everything we got, everything in your house is electric. You watch like one of the older television shows, maybe Seinfeld, or even go back further than that, and you look at the set, you see what their electrical needs were. There's not a lot there. Now everything is electric, and we're pushing in more. The state was trying to get rid of gas stoves there for a while. And we keep putting a demand on the electrical grid, but we're not generating anything. So we got to go out in the pool and buy electric. And since we're not generating it, we're at the mercy of the people who do generate it. And this organization, I forget the name of it right now, where we buy electric from, the rates are high because you got some of these states, New York, New Jersey, California, they all went the wrong way on energy generating. And now we're paying the price, at least in New York. And I'm sure Jersey will follow real quick. New York, even Hochul was saying, man, we're going to embrace some nuclear power here, which is probably the best. I know people think back on the 3 Mile Island thing. Again, we're not building these huge plants. They're like pocket nuclear plants that they're building. I have no problem with that. I wouldn't have one problem if they put one in Jersey City. I know other people in Jersey City may say they'd be against that. I am not one. I want to be able to turn the lights on at night. I want to be able to watch TV. I want the air conditioning to work. I don't want brownouts. I don't want rolling brownouts. And that's what's coming. And if we don't make a change and start developing and generating electric, we're going to have a problem. So that's one of the issues you're going to have. Gig workers. This is finally getting some attention. And I hire gig workers. We produce radio and television shows in the North Bergen facility. We have a pretty big studio there. I teach high school kids, and now I'm going to be teaching college kids studio production and radio production. And we utilize freelancers almost all, 100%, until the state told me that they have to be employees. And so now we were using a lot of guys. Now we use less. And one of the problems, we're going to wind up even using less and less because of AI. AI is doing graphic work for us. I talk to my phone now and tell it to develop me a graphic. Boom, 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 boom. It's done. And I used to hire somebody to do that for hours. This thing's doing it on my phone in like 5 minutes. If we lose the 1099, the side hustle guys, the gig workers, the Ubers, the looks, the journalists, the freelance video editors, camera guys, people work in weddings, dog walkers, real estate people. Real estate, they're all 1099. They're pretty much commission based. Almost like 2 million people in the state have a side hustle, either or their main hustle, and that they're a 1099 employee. So that's one of the issues that's facing New Jersey right now. New Jersey is going to phase that out. I don't know if Mikey Sherrill will reverse that, but I'm sure Jack Citarelli will look into it. I know from the movie and television production, there has to be some sort of an exemption because there aren't many 7-day-a-week video production studios in New Jersey. Most of them are, production by production. You get a gig in there. Jersey City right now at the Paulie Studios, Project Runways filming there. So they'll film for around 10 weeks or so, and boom, they're gone. And then they wait for the next Cinelease in Jersey City, a major motion picture studio. They wait for the next project to come in, and then they hire the people as needed. If all those people have to become employees, that's going to be a problem. We'll start losing movie and television production to other states that realize that we live by the production deal, the next movie, the next TV show. If you can get a good TV show that gets picked up, that might be a different story. But what we do, we do civic and governmental and medical TV shows, and we're there 5 days a week doing social media and the half-hour productions. We do Hudson County Live, Talking Politics, the City Show, Stick at Night. We generate probably on the average week, 5 hours of production, and counter radio even more. But I would like to utilize more freelancers, because I just don't have enough work to put all these people on as regular employees. We just don't have it all the time. We can keep the guys we have working now, but I need to say we have a new junior high school opening in North Bergen this September. I want to go in and shoot the whole high school. They just renovated it in North Bergen. I'm going to have to hire people to do that, because I just can't take my guys out of the normal production. So I want to hire people to do that. And the way the state set it up, I can't hire freelance camera guys. So that's a problem. So I don't know if I'll be able to do that project. But that's one of the issues facing New Jersey right now. Electric, $10.99. School fund. Oh, listen, let me break for commercial. Hopefully we have commercials airing here. Let's break for commercial. You're listening to the Shore Show Radio. I'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
We're back. Shore Show Radio here, Seaside Heights edition from my daughter's garage, but eventually we'll be up on the stage. Yeah, there are a lot of school funding is another big issue we have here in New Jersey. I've covered this relentlessly. In Jersey City, it costs about $36,000 a year to educate a student. In Toms River, it costs about $17,000 a year to educate a student. There's a real problem. There shouldn't be such a difference in the price of educating a child from 70 miles distance. From Jersey City to Toms River, it shouldn't be more than double the cost. That's one of the problems we have. The other is how we fund the schools out of the state. We have Union City. Brian Stackey, the state senator and mayor, is a very successful political figure and governmental figure. Union City gets more school funding than the city of Jersey City. And it's huge difference in the student populations between Union City and Jersey City. Toms River, they were going to file for bankruptcy because of the funding disparities there. They're suing the state. I know North Bergen, New Jersey is one of the municipalities also suing the state over the funding for the schools. We definitely have an issue there. How we settle that is, first off, we really need a forensic accounting of our school system. Secondly, we don't need 565 school districts, because all those have to be funded. You got 21 counties, have 21 school districts. And there's no reason there should be such a discrepancy in the price for educating a student. the salaries are probably pretty much the same. If not, teacher salaries, pretty much the same from Jersey City to Tom's River. And if there is a difference, it should be addressed. Outside of that, the schools aren't paying property taxes. They're not paying rent. Yeah, it's not like a private business. There's some reason why there's such a huge discrepancy. Yeah, I did a piece on the city show, my radio show, with school funding at my elementary school. PS 23 on Broadway in Jersey City. At the price of a student, it costs $54 million a year to run that school. Are you effing kidding me? It costs $54 million a year. At the $36,000 a student, yeah. So that's one of the problems we have. So that has to be addressed, and it has to be funding equal to all the districts, all the schools. Like I'm saying, there's no reason one school gets so much more money than the other. They should all be treated the same. And maybe we look at the charter schools. How are the charter schools managing? The former mayor of Jersey City and candidate for governor, and he was the head of the Department of Education here in Jersey City for a while until he ran across Chris Christie somewhere or another. I forget what happened there, but he was fired. Brett Shumler. Now, Brett Shumler is running a string of very successful charter schools. He's building a charter high school right down by, I was talking about Cinelise before, right near the Cinelise motion picture studio. He's able to turn a profit. He is successful there, and I got my public schools. Their pockets are inside out. They're broke. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Jersey City has a over $1 billion school budget. If any place needs some forensic accounting, it's Jersey City, because it is stifling the taxes that are getting charged to the residents there. And the biggest problem we have is the school funding. Think about that. $1 billion school budget. Scary, isn't it? And that's got to be paid. And in the last 3 or 4 years, we got a mayor there, Stephen Fulop, who ran for governor also. Steve is trying to hold the taxes stable in Jersey City. Meanwhile, the Board of Education is crushing the people of Jersey City with tax increases left and right. In the last 3 to 4 years, the school taxes had to go up like 50%. I mean, there's devastating increases. That's something that has to be addressed. But that's the problems we have in New Jersey, and that's the problems that has to be addressed. There are many other problems, by the way, but that's the ones that affect your paycheck and affect your ability to pay your rent, pay your mortgage, insurances. That's incredibly expensive here in New Jersey, and we get pounded over the head constantly with insurance. Even the public employees' insurance is devastating. They're about to get hit with another 30% increase. Governmental employees, municipal, county workers. That shouldn't happen. Why are these rates so high when the insurance companies themselves are making billions and billions in profit? I'm a capitalist guy. That's what this country is found on, capitalism. Make as much money as you can. But there comes a point where how much is too much? And especially when you're sending that bill to the taxpayers through the state and governmental employee benefits. The state may have to look into going into the insurance business themselves. Again, if the Blue Crosses and the Aetnas of the world can make billions of dollars in profit, I'm sure the state can. But, maybe not. Look at the state. We used to make money with the lottery. Now we're losing money with the lottery. We privatized the lottery. Did we ever make any money with the casinos? And they're talking about putting a casino in the Meadowlands again. If we do that, we'll probably devastate Atlantic City, which is... And if you look at Atlantic City and with the expansion of the casinos there going from the 70s, did we do Atlantic City any favor? Did we do anyone any favor with that? We're not making money with the casinos. Now you got the online gambling, which we'll screw that up, believe me. All these things have to be looked into. How can we lose money with the New Jersey lottery? These things have to be looked into. You got to look at the entire state budget on how we're spending the money and where it's coming in, and are we doing the best we possibly can with. These are things that Mikey Sherrill and Jack Citarelli are going to have to look into. Well, listen, let's break for commercial. I got some people in the North Bergen facility listening to the show now. Let me see what they're saying. We're going to break for commercial. Hopefully you hear something. I'll be right back.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
We're back. You're listening to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition, as we try to figure out what we're doing with commercials here. We were talking about the Trump before and polls. The FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson University, just did a poll that showed Trump with 30% favorable and 55% unfavorable. First off, this is a Jersey poll, and I like I said before, I'm not sure I trust any of these Jersey polls anymore. They never seem to be accurate. And again, when you get to Trump, it's very hard to get accurate poll numbers with him. He polls badly. I don't know if people are afraid to say that they're going to vote for Trump. Yeah, that's one of the things where you're starting to hear a lot of this. It's really becoming vicious. Where if you're a Republican or you say you're a Republican, you're a MAGA, you're a Trumpy, more than half of this country elected this guy. So when you start attacking the Republican and the MAGA, you're attacking more than half the country. And my God, how some of these people are. But again, it's one of the problems with the social media. People get hide behind fake names and all. One of the things that you constantly see these people attacking, especially these Epstein files. I don't know what's going to happen with the Epstein. A lot of names were affiliated with Epstein. You got the Bill Gates, you got Bill Clinton. There are numerous other people that were hanging out with Epstein. Now, just because Epstein was a pedophile doesn't mean everybody associated him was. If you grew up I grew up in Jersey City. Some of the guys I grew up with weren't exactly law-abiding. Didn't mean I wasn't law-abiding. Guilt by association here. I would rather wait until all this Epstein stuff comes out. But I've said with the Epstein, and it's one of the things that affected the poll numbers, I believe here. With these underage girls, how the hell did they get to this island? Where were the parents that these kids were on a private plane going to an island? Now, again, I'm not saying anything was okay with whoever was fooling around with underage girls. But where the hell were the parents there? Why are none of these parents ever charged or questioned about how did your 16-year-old get over on that island or on that plane? Nobody ever seems to bring up that question. And anytime I mention that on social media, things get completely quiet. The Epstein files, release what you have on the guy. And I think Trump's going to do that. According to what he said, he's got Epstein out of his orbit long ago, back in 2005 or something like that. Well, like I'm saying, you see these things on the internet, and some people believe whatever they read on the internet, and that could be troubling. Release the files, let it go where it is, let's see what's there. Trump said he dumped him like back in 2005, but there are some big names, and I guarantee you they all weren't, in cahoots with whatever Epstein was doing. We all know somebody who did things that weren't exactly the right thing to do, but it didn't make us guilty of it also. So again, I would let things play out. But it is astonishing when you read the social media and what people post about this guy. I have some experience with Donald Trump back in the New Jersey General days. He was the owner of our football team. he's president once before. There were some things he did that I liked, some things he didn't. I will say the economy was better when he was the president the first time around. I actually had money. After Biden, I have no money. I'm hoping that Trump turns things around, the economy. Whether you love or hate the guy, you need him to be successful. And that's the bottom line. If he's successful, the country is successful. And when we attack this guy, we try to belittle this guy or the office of the presidency, or people say, not my president. Of course he's your president. He's president of the United States. It hurts the country. I need him to be successful. The thing with the tariffs, I'm not smart enough to know about the tariffs. Sounds like a good deal to me. We're getting more money. We're getting our product overseas or across the borders into Mexico or whatever we do the deal with Canada. European Union, it seems like from what I read, it was a really good deal for the United States. Eventually, all that comes back and it benefits the country. There's more money coming in. There's all sorts of investment coming into the United States. So for what I can see, the guy's doing a job. Now, is everything he do we're going to love? Of course not. I'm married 47 years. I don't agree with everything my wife says. And she doesn't agree with everything I say. You don't agree with everything I say. But for the most part, yeah, we're pretty much in agreement when it comes to the country. Yes, we want the country to be safe. We want the economy to be good. We don't want to have to worry about crime in the streets. A big question in the election was immigration. Seems they got a handle on that. We got to get some of these people out of here. We just had a terrible tragedy where an illegal immigrant who was arrested on domestic abuse charges, I believe, and then had 2 DUIs, was released because of the Jersey sanctuary state status, not telling ICE or the federal government about this guy. And he went out drinking again and going the wrong way, smashed into a car, killed a young mother and a daughter, and injured the second daughter. That shouldn't have happened. That person shouldn't have been in the country. But that's one of the things that have to be addressed here. And it pains me to think of a daughter dying. I'm the father of 2 daughters. That's one of the things we need to address. But when you get down to Trump and you look at what he's accomplished, again, I don't agree with everything he's doing. Don't get me wrong. I have many complaints. But like I said, when he got elected, I'll ride with this guy for the first year. Let's see what he accomplishes instead of throwing rocks at every turn. But, like I said, the border crossings, he's got that down. Prices, I said before, like I go to ShopRite, the prices are coming down. Yeah, I can get a little yogurt now for 50 cents. I was paying like $1 for the yogurt. Yes, I do eat yogurt. I'm trying to knock some weight off. Actually, I went to whole wheat bread. Not thrilled about that, but I'm doing a whole wheat bread deal instead of the white bread. Trying to eat healthier. Went from white rice to brown rice, which is okay if you soup it up a little bit there. But the prices of that are coming down. He's got billions and billions in investments here coming in. Like I said, with the tariffs, it seem to be working for what I know about the tariffs. He raised the salt taxes. The state and local tax deduction was $10,000 a year. Now it's $40,000 a year. I think that's a huge benefit for everybody in New Jersey who's a property owner or homeowner. Before that, it was capped at $10,000, and everybody was going nuts. Oh, the feds capped it at $10,000. You know what the state of New Jersey caps it at? $10,000. Nobody seems to be going crazy about that. You actually have peace in the Middle East. Think about that. We have peace in the Middle East right now. How long it lasts, that's a whole other story. But it's been peace in the Middle East for the last month or so. Iran, they're sitting down right now. They've been bombed and between the United States and Israel. So right now they're licking their wounds, and that's better because that's a country that wakes up every morning and they'll either say death to America. So the more we can have them sitting down, the better it is. He's fighting anti-Semitism. He's supporting law enforcement. I really don't have a problem. I know there's some things with the Medicare that there's going to be a works part to it where you got to do 80 hours a month starting, I think, in 2026. I guess I don't have a problem with that. As long as if you're going to do the work, as long as there's a real good end to it. I would try to take that and get people into a good place of employment where if you're volunteering, you can do like an internship. in a place where you can actually get gainful employment, where the employee will recognize you and see what you're doing and say, yeah, I think I'd like to hire that guy or gal. Instead of just doing some volunteer work and working at a shelter or something like that, or animal shelter. But I'd like to see people at a place where they can get some gainful employment. That would be the best thing. So as far as the Trump and attacking a guy, yeah, let's give the guy time. What's he been the president for 6 months? 7 months. Yeah, what are we in August now? Yeah, it's a little more than 7 months. I will say he's on TV way too much. He was just dancing on the roof of the White House. And people's heads were exploding because he was dancing on the roof of the White House. So, come on, man. Hey, you guys fool around a little bit. All right, we're going to break for commercial. I turned this up a little bit. Well, hopefully you can hear it. You're listening to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition. We'll be right back.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
All right, we're back. You're listening to the Shore Show here on GGR. I'm Pat O'Melia, Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition. Remember Seaside Heights, you got a beautiful weather today. You're going to have beautiful weather tomorrow. It'll be a nicer weekend all weekend. You got it's getting hot next week. We're getting back up into the high 90s next week. So if you're thinking to come down to Seaside, I'll get down here now. They just had a concert on the beach here last night. I think it was the Allman Brothers, cover band there. All free. A lot of free stuff, movies on the beach. There's always some kind of activity going on. You know, every Wednesday in Seaside Heights at 9:30, you have the fireworks display. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, Seaside Heights fits into anyone's budget. Depends, you want to stay in a motel, you want to stay overnight, you want to stay the weekend, you want to stay the week. I strongly recommend, if you're staying more than a couple of days, get an efficiency apartment at one of the big motels down here, or rent an apartment on the Airbnb, or Seaside Realty with Michael Lundy. Then you can go get a food order, put in your supplies. You can have your pizza and your cheesesteaks and cheeseburgers on the boardwalk, but you go home and you can make a decent meal that, it's not burning a hole through your pocket. But there's a lot to do in Seaside Heights and the surrounding areas also. You got Seaside Heights, you got Lava Lead, you got Seaside Park. Yeah, you got the Jersey Blue Claws. You can catch a baseball game. You got the planetarium down here. You got the movie theaters that I spoke about before. There is a lot to do. And there's always some sort of events going on at Seaside Heights. There's always something going on at the stage as soon as we finish renovating the stage. For that matter, they had a band in there. What was it, Tuesday night? I was up there checking my Wi-Fi. We wanted to do the show up there. And actually, I got to do a little more work on getting used to this equipment here. Putting the guardrails on. And they didn't finish by the time. There's still a lot of work to do. You can see where they set the drummer up. Must have been the word. When you see where your drummer is, don't back up any further than the drummer, or you're going to be on the beach there. But I tell you, Billy Ramboli, when you come down to Seaside, it is probably the most maintained boardwalk and beach you could imagine. Billy Ramboli is the head of the DPW down here. He's been renovating and replacing parts of the boardwalk, all new boards. Amazing how those boards wear out so quickly. He's rebuilt a lot of the ramps, the ADA ramps, getting up to the boardwalk. A guy with me with 2 bad knees. I appreciate that, Billy. I appreciate that. Especially if I'm going up to the Beachcomber. As I said before, the Beachcomber's got the best pizza. And on the boardwalk, I like to go up there, get a couple slices, and an order of fried calamari. And my wife and I enjoy that. And now that Billy has renovated those, he's got both ramps by the Beachcomber renovated. It's always improvements. It's always clean on the boardwalk. Billy drags that beach every morning to get it nice and set up for everyone. It's reasonably priced. Now again, if you take like you rented like my kids a rental here, the Airbnb, it comes with 2 beach passes. So there are ways you can save money, have a good vacation in Seaside, and not blow all your savings, and have a good. Can't control the weather, but actually the weather wasn't too bad. I will say, probably every Saturday this year it rained down here in Seaside Heights, but it won't this week. Gonna be real good weather. So if you're listening to me right now, you should be saying, I think I'll listen to Pat, and I will go down to Seaside Heights right now. And we will enjoy the beautiful weather down there and have a good time. So right now, go to Exit 82, by the way. Go to Exit 82, and you can see what events are coming up. And, it'll give you whatever information you need, where you want to stay, weather, discounts. Actually, that's one of the things I want to talk to Mayor Boz. As soon as we figure out all the equipment here, once I figure that all out, we'll get Mayor Boz. We'll do interviews up on the boardwalk. But I want to get some of the vendors, the people who run the stands. I want to get Dave West from Dave Scott rather from the Coin Casino. Mike Cabone, the guy that owns the Beachcomber. All these people, the Lucky Leo's gang that's into everything. Rest his soul, Lucky Leo Pad. We lost him a few years back. What an interesting guy. His family history on the boardwalk goes back to 1953. We had him with the Shore Show, the television show, where they decided to get in the candy business, not knowing a damn thing about making candy. Now they're very successful in the candy business on the boardwalk. Want to start bringing those people in. Hopefully we can start that next week as soon as I stop messing up with the equipment here. But getting back to Trump, people talk about all our great leaders have a history. And Trump is no different. He's got some history there also. FDR, he has some history with the ladies. JFK, a lot of history with the ladies. Ike, Bill Clinton, come on. Clinton is the history with the ladies. He was a big fan of JFK, and he emulated him, that's for sure. All of our great leaders have that a dark side to them. And does Trump have one? I guess allegedly he does. I don't know him that well. He's been married a few times, that sort of thing. Yes, but you can't have a saint running the country. You got to have somebody who's got. I like a guy with some street smart. I tell you, take Clinton. He came from the South, Rhodes Scholar, that sort of thing. Very genius guy. But he was one of the guys who always came across to me as street smart. Now Reagan, the two greatest presidents in my lifetime is probably Reagan and Clinton. Probably leaning Clinton as the most, the best president, most successful. But those guys kind of had some street smarts to them. Maybe Clinton, you knew Clinton had some street smarts to him. Trump does. I don't know if this guy was ever on the streets, but he got his street smarts from somewhere. But those are the leaders that'll be successful. I hope Trump is successful. Because if Trump's successful, then you and I are successful. That old saying where the tide raises all boats? Well, that's really true. So hopefully this guy is successful. Hopefully we stop throwing rocks. Some of these people, they talk about the Democratic Party being dead. I don't know if it's dead. I'm in the North Bergen facility. I'm in Hudson County. That is ruled by the Democrats up there. They're not in the best shape I've ever seen them. Is the party dead? No. But if they don't start making some changes, they have a longer road than they need to get back into power. Again, I tell you another thing. If this economy is in good shape come election day here in New Jersey, I think that's a big benefit for Citarelli. If the economy is working, then the Democrats got a real problem here. I said before, I teach high school kids studio production and radio production, and now this year we're going to be working with a couple of the colleges teaching their kids also. I just bought a van, Ford Transit Connect, that we're going to use as a control van so these kids can go out on location, film school events, broadcast school events. We'll have the capabilities of doing video transmissions and radio transmissions, hopefully better than I'm doing right now. So these kids can call ball games, football games. And I'm getting new cameras for the studio. The ones they have now is about 7 years old. We want to get these kids the best possible equipment. You can't teach people. It's like when I took the interns in over the years. Before Major League Baseball, open a studio in Secor, because I used to have tons of interns. And then MLB opened a studio, and all the interns went over there because MLB instead of Hudson Media. The thing with me is you actually learn. You were pushing furniture around. You were behind the cameras. You were doing lighting. You were figuring out the mic. You were doing audio. You learned the equipment, and then I threw you in the deep end. For that matter, I was talking to, we're probably going to start working with Hoboken High School this year in the North Bergen studio. And I was asked, what's my teaching philosophy? Well, once the kids learn the equipment, I throw them in the deep end. They start editing. They start, again, pushing. We got to put the sets together. In the North Bergen studio, everything changes as to what we need it to be. Walls move, curtains move, furniture moves, backdrops move, green screens, video walls, all that stuff. I've had a lot of kids come through my studio in the last 20 years who have gone on to bigger and better. They normally do 2 or 3 years with me, and off they go to bigger and better things. And I only have the one way of teaching. You get thrown in the deep end of the pool. And for that matter, we just had some of the kids helping clean in the studio right now during the summer because they're going off to college on the 20th. And we're finishing our best and brightest. Hopefully we finish it today. I'm just waiting the names of teachers. We have some of the kids that received the scholarships in North Bergen High School. We had 25 names. And we had the kids doing an interview with the kids. And the kids did their own filming, their own editing. They did their own lighting, their own audio. Did a pretty damn good job. And for that matter, Gully and Jamari just had the principal in. And they had a shot a piece where the principal was congratulating all the graduating students at North Bergen High School. These kids learn quite a bit. So I'm buying new cameras. And I come across this auction on eBay for one of the cameras I want. It had 35 hours on, so it's practically brand new. And it's quite reasonably priced. So I'm like, yeah, I'm always leery about buying used equipment. Used equipment bites me on the butt all the time, whether it's automotive. But I'm like, if I can get it for this price, that's a real savings. And I can use the money to get another mixer board or some more microphones. And for that matter, we're putting together, I was just talking to Garrett, the guys in the studio. We built this storage shelf, this huge storage shelf in our old studio. And as soon as we built the storage shelf, we were convinced to move to a new studio where we really didn't need the storage shelf anymore. Where we were putting furniture on there and all set parts. And now we don't need it in the bigger studio. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to make that an audio video storage. So we'll get the racks for the microphones and the cameras will be there. This way, when the kids are going out to do a shoot, let me grab 2 cameras, let me grab these 2 mics. We got a ceremony set where we got wireless speakers and wireless microphones and a collapsible podium. So the kids can just grab it, throw it on the cart, take it down to the control band, and off they go. So I answered this bid. And I don't know, about an hour later, I get another email that my bid's been topped. I should top it. So I do that. I bid another $50. Then the second time, I've been topped. I'm starting to think it's probably the same guy who's topping his own bid. So I do it one more time. Turns out I won. Now, before I did this, I got 3 companies. We got Hudson Media ready to roll, and the high school program. And the high school program is a nonprofit 501c. So I'm going to make the bid. So I pay things by PayPal. PayPal, if you got a problem, PayPal will handle it. PayPal's got to pay attention to what they do. But I check off the funding source. I want to make sure the right account is going to be debited. So I win. eBay sends the notice to PayPal, and PayPal debits the wrong account. And I haven't checked off there. It says check off. The High School Entertainment Network. And they hit the account that I didn't have enough funds in for the camera. And fortunately, I went to TD Bank, and they give you a little time to rectify that. So I'm trying to rectify it with PayPal. And PayPal's like admitting, yeah, we understand what you're saying, but this is what happened. They're not correcting this to me. And going back and forth, I got to the point, I said, I'll just write a check and deposit it into the other account. That's what it is. So we got the camera. I think for that matter, I think the camera might be arriving today. Now, I'm really anxious to see this. And 35 hours, this thing should be pristine. No scratches or anything like that. So it would be a real benefit because the savings on that, I can get another mixer here for the high school kids. But I'm going to put radio stations in our high schools. I want the kids to do shows during the week. All the high school kids get in there, whatever they want to do, sports, fashion, high school living, Dungeons and Dragons, whatever they want. I don't need them all the time in the studio. It's hard to get the kids into the studio because especially the high school kids, they got to be bussed in, they got to be chaperoned. Go there, but the college kids, they don't need all that. So my game plan is to have the college kids go out and do a lot of the on the road work, all the B-roll shooting, then bring it in and have the high school kids do the editing. I don't know if the two will ever meet, high school and college, probably not. But getting back to the camera, be sure. Yeah, also I had to change. I went to eBay, and I even put different financial information on eBay because they only had Hudson Media, and according to PayPal, eBay wanted to debit Hudson Media, but I pay a lot of bills through eBay. They're gonna be Hudson Media ready to roll. It's whoever I select wants to pay it. So just be careful of that. But we did get the cameras. That worked out well for me. So that worked out well. And hopefully the camera comes today. I get to look at it and I'll say, "Ooh, that's a nice camera." I'm gonna be very happy I got that. And because of that camera, I'll be able to get some more microphones and maybe another mixer. I got my guy Garrett sending me videos. I'm live on the air, Garrett. It's hard for me to watch your video, but I have put the gain up all the way on that, so I've accomplished that. I think maybe I haven't. Who knows? But we'll figure this out. By the next time I broadcast, I'll be a pro. Yeah, I'll be for a while there. In February, I had a flu in February, so I got a doctor back in January or something. And Dr. Maiella said, we should probably check you out a little bit. Let's do a chest X-ray and all this stuff. He goes, you want to get your knees done? Let's get a look and make sure you can survive the operation. So I go and I get this CAT scan. I get these other things, and lo and behold, there's an abnormality. I have no symptoms of anything. So we got to get checked this abnormality. So they put me in this. They do a stress test. We do another scan, and it turns out there's a blockage in one of my arteries, but I knew nothing about it. Go to get a stent put in. For that matter, they put me on these blood thinners, and I'm losing like all my blood. So I stopped the blood thinners. I tell the doctors for the stent, I said, listen, I had to stop the blood thinners. I was losing my blood. And they're not in a good way either. There's no good way, but there's bad, very bad ways. So what they do, they pump me up with more of that stuff than they do the stent. The guy's doing the stent, and he goes, it's a little, whoa, what do you mean? It's pretty blocked. It was 95% on one of them. So they did that, and then they put me on more of the blood thinners, the baby aspirin too, and I'm losing blood. It got to the point, your normal blood count is somewhere around between 14 and 17. Mine normally around 16 and a half. I was down to 4.2, where actually there was no oxygen in my body anymore. It's amazing what the blood does. It delivers all that oxygen all through your body. Take me to the ambulance. I'm in the hospital for like 8 days. So I was doing the Tom's River show constantly, but I have not done the radio solo in about 6 months because no matter what I want to do to get my knees done, something always has to happen, whether it's a pandemic, something happens to the surgeon, heart issues, whatever it is. When I want to get these knees done, something prevents it. So this is the first time I've ever gone solo, and I know I'm just missing something here. I'm just not sure what it is. But let's continue on with our fine show here. If you're a football fan, I was watching some of the football yesterday. I seen the Ravens game. I watched some of the Raiders Seahawks game. ESPN has entered an agreement, and it's non-binding, which is interesting. They keep saying that it's a non-binding agreement, that they're taking over the NFL Network. They're also taking over the WWE pay-per-views. The Red Zone for the NFL, they're taking over. It's going to be, I don't know if it's going to take effect this year. I haven't seen all the work on this yet, but certainly by next year. And it's going to get to the point, if you want to watch football, you're going to have a few streaming packages. I see a day is going to come where you're not going to have a game on the networks on Sunday, where we'll have our 1 o'clock game and a 4 o'clock game and possibly an 8 o'clock game. All that is changing. And it started changing last year, really. Amazon got the Thursday night games. Netflix was doing the Christmas games. I think Peacock and Paramount had games, but those games also popped up on regular TV or on the NFL Network. Listen, they want to get as much money. Again, like I said before, I'm a capitalistic guy. But I think they're going to ruin the product when you can't find a game. You're going to have Netflix, Peacock. Well, Peacock and Paramount, they survived through this now. We're talking billions and billions and billions. But you're going to have Amazon, Netflix, ESPN, YouTube. I'm forgetting somebody, I think, there. Now, I got ESPN Plus on my Disney Plus. I don't know if I'll have to pay more. I'm sure I'll have to pay more. They just laid out billions of dollars. Yeah, there will come a time when you're going to you're not going to have a game on 2, 4, 7. There'll be a blank Sunday unless you have these streaming channels. And they're talking right now, the monthly streaming channel price that they're predicting for ESPN is $29.99. That's pretty pricey. And of course, I think the NFL ticket on YouTube is like $450. This is getting very pricey to do. It's all changing. And I remember the kids, the first Monday night game. That's when Howard Cosell, Don Meredith, and Frank Gifford, they were like the rock stars, and it was something to look forward to. You knew that Monday night game. You knew it Channel 7. Yeah, it's like trying to find a Yankee game now. Whether it's on TV or radio, it's trying to find a Yankee game now. They're all over the place, and that hurts the product. But these guys are getting billions and billions of dollars. So you go where the money takes you, right? And if we want to watch football, we're going to have to pay some real money. Yeah, we're working on Jersey Line. I do the NFL predictions each week. We're working on a new look for the Jersey Line. But it's unfortunate, and I can just see that those days are going to come where your afternoon on network, there's not going to be a football game. I mentioned we're talking about Seaside Heights here. One of the other things you can go visit is the Carousel House. Now, the Carousel was owned by the Casino Pier, and they were going to get rid of it. And they talked in my opinion, they conned the borough of Seaside Heights into taking the Carousel. Of course, we lost the other one in the fire about 10 years back. So Mayor Boggs went all in on saving this carousel. They built the Carousel House and got all the grant monies to do this. And I think we traded some beach, I think it was, for the Carousel House. Normally, nobody would make a deal like this, but the whole idea is having attractions here in Seaside Heights. So off we go. We get the Carousel House, and they got the carousel. They had it all renovated. It took like 2-3 years to do that. They had to send the horses and all down to Ohio. So it's all done. They built a round house there. So you can go and you take a ride on a carousel, take a picture and all that stuff. Believe me, go take it, because a lot of money was spent on this carousel. But it's one of the other things you can do while you're here in Seaside Heights. Yeah, you go to Carousel House, and like I said, there are a lot of things to do. The best way to enjoy Seaside, unless you're coming down for a day and just want to lay on the beach and hang around on the boardwalk, for that matter, Billy Ramboli's got new benches on the board. I hope he brings back the old ones. I think I got to talk to Billy. He's probably renovating them. Because I like the one where the back moves back and forth. So if I want to look at the ocean, I can flip the bench back one way. If I want to look at the boardwalk, I can just flip it the other way. But right now, he's got them fixed benches there. And they're not as wide, but I don't think they're there permanently. But they're nice and clean, all colorful looking, so that'll work. But there's always something. If you plan out, if you're coming down for a week, you got to do some strategic plan. What do you want to do with that week? Go to Exit 82. That's the main website for Seaside Heights. And also check the Ocean County. Like I said, you got the Blue Cross, you got the planetarium down here. There's a lot. You got the theater. Don't forget Fortune Buffet. But Fortune Buffet will become your favorite place for $16 for all you can eat. And the food is good. Food is good, and it is plenty. So that will be definitely your favorite place. You can catch me there on a Saturday or Friday or Saturday when I'm down here in the Seaside. I make it a point to go over to Fortune Buffet. So there's things you can do besides just the board. Well, you want to come for the boardwalk on the beach. But how much boardwalk on the beach can you take? So plot it out. Do some strategic planning. Go on Airbnb. Find a nice place. If you got dogs, like my kids let dogs in here. For that matter, we got a young lady here staying with 2 of her dogs. It's hard to get places that take pets, but unless you're my daughter Gina and Evelyn, they're pet people, so you're allowed to bring cats and dogs when you rent down here. And it's true, they're like family members. When we had Boomer, Boomer was like a child for us. And I guess everybody's like that with their pets. But set up, do some strategic planning. You can come down here for a week, not go broke, and there's a lot to do. Like I said, you got the Carousel House, the Planetarium, the theater, whatever Mayor Vaz and Mike Grayson are doing on the boardwalk with cover bands and movies and barbecues or whatever the hell you're doing up there. There's always something going on, fireworks. There's something happening up there. So if you're coming, come down and enjoy it. You know, we're talking before about Trump. I was reading this morning that he wants to do another census. It seems the last census we did included people that weren't citizens or residents of the area. In this case, there were undocumented illegal aliens in our census. Why would you have that? That's like counting people who are working in the area as part of the census, or people who are visiting. It's like doing a census right now in Seaside Heights. Yeah, right now in Seaside Heights, the population is probably around 60,000 people. After October, 1,600 people. Now, why would we do a census and just include everybody that's here? Why would they include people that aren't residents or citizens? And that obscured the entire census. Actually, it obscured what they're talking about, the redistricting of the congressional seats. Yeah, that's a problem when, you know, we counted a bunch of people that shouldn't be there. So he's talking about doing another. That's a very expensive undertaking. I don't know if that's going to happen. We normally do the census every 2 years. And again, in Jersey City, we never get our census right. We're never the number one city in the state. We should be. I know we got more population than Newark, but Newark always seems to count better than we do. Talking about Trump, I cover politics with the city show, so a lot of politics with me. They got a race for mayor where we got a socialist running in for New York, Mondani. And Mondani might win this thing. That'll be really interesting. He wants government-run supermarkets. And I think there's one somewhere. Was it in St. Louis or Missouri? It's like nothing on the shelves. It just really didn't work out. And people, yeah, of course, you're throwing rocks at the socialist guy. It'll be interesting to see in a general election as opposed to a primary. Because a lot of people don't come out for the primary to see who votes. And you got Cuomo, former governor of New York, running for mayor. Eric Adams, the incumbent mayor. This guy Mondani, and Curtis Sliwa, the guardian angel guy, who doesn't keep his word. Years ago, I guess around 12 years ago, something like that, I was doing the weekly show. And we were filming out at the Lowe's Theater in Jersey City. And my guest on that show was Curtis Sliwa and councilman at that time, Stephen Fulop. And we're talking to Sliwa, and there was some crime that happened in Jersey City, and Sliwa was going to come in with his guardian angels, and he was going to make Jersey City safe for everybody. And I'm sitting there, Mayor Fulop and I are sitting, well, Councilman Fulop at that time, sitting there, I'm looking at it and I said, that's not going to happen in Jersey City. Jersey City is not going to be following the guardian angel. We're not going to be joining your group. That's how we are here in Jersey City. And he goes, oh, we'll see. And I said, listen, come back in 6 months so I can tell you I told you so. So 6 months comes and goes, and it's time for me to tell him I told you so, because the guardian angels didn't take root in Jersey City. That just didn't happen. We're not going to do that. It's not what Jersey City people are. So I reached out constantly to this guy, and he would not come over to do another show with me. So I could tell him, I told you so. I told you this was not going to work in Jersey City. So I got a problem with Sliwa, but I'm not a New York City resident anyway, so I'm not going to be voting there. I would be amazed if an American city, the United States of America, would vote for a socialist and put him in power. But right now, Mondani is accusing Andrew Cuomo of talking to President Trump and trying to get an endorsement or whatever. And he's throwing that at Cuomo as if it's a bad thing to talk to the President of the United States. Well, first off, he's the guy with the money. So if you're going to run a city the size of New York especially, you want to be tight with the feds. Actually, if I'm the mayor of Jersey City, I'm sending them cards, texting. What's his social? Is it Truth Social or something? I'm signing up on that. He's the guy with the money. Yes, you want to be on his good side. And again, going back to what I said, the campaign is over, people. That's one of the other problems we have. People in Washington, the campaign's never over. They're constantly fighting amongst themselves where they should be down here doing the business of the people, the business of the country. That's what we don't do. It's constantly, if Trump says it's a nice sunny day today, the Democrats will say there's no sun, there's only moon. That has to stop. But getting back to what I said, I'd be his best friend. That's where the money is. He can help your town, your city, with grant monies, whatever kind of monies you can get out of this guy. He's got the strings. He's the one that's proposing these budgets. He's the guy that's got to swing it through there, through the Congress. Right now, because of the Democrats, it's such an awful job. Excuse me. And over the last 4 years, they lost control of everything. They lost the Senate, they lost the Congress, they lost the White House, they lost everything. Now, will it stay that way in the midterms? I'm sure it will if the economy is well, immigration is down, and we're safe. For that matter, I think I just read that Trump is putting National Guard soldiers in D.C. because of the crime. The crime is getting out of hand. We screwed it up here with bail reforms. People are getting locked up and they get turned around. There you go. What they call it, literally just a slap on the wrist. Even if that, a slap on the wrist. So we got to start making some changes. I know somebody was talking about Twitter a while back saying, if people want to go back to the 50s, that may not be a bad idea going back to the 50s. Because we were certainly a safer place back then. But you see these things in New York City all the time. Somebody getting shoved on a train. You have the people with mental. Guy comes over drove all the way from Vegas in a car better than mine, by the way. The nice, there was a Mercedes, double parks, comes out with a AR-15, I think, walks the streets of New York City with a gun on his side, by the way. And of course, New York City, nobody looks twice at that. Walks into the building, starts shooting everybody up, kills 5 or 6 people, kills himself also. Yeah. There are red flags here. And it's always going to be a case where there's a mental problem. He wasn't on his drugs or meds or something like that. Those things got to stop because innocent people are getting hurt and killed. So somewhere along the line, we got to start getting a handle on the crimes. And if you got to get really deep with what Trump is trying to do here with the National Guard, maybe that's what we do until we can make it safe for your mother and your wife and your kids or your son or your father. Can walk the streets without worrying about being stabbed, shot, or killed in some fashion. So again, like I said before, I'll ride with Trump for a year. And I'll reassess it after the year. But again, it really comes down to the economy. Even back with Bill Clinton and James Carville, and they said it's the economy's stupid. Boy, was that right? You want to take care of a lot of ills? Get the economy right. Let's do a little local here. I'm going to break for commercial. Hopefully this is working. We'll try again. You're listening to the Shore Show, Seaside Heights edition. I'll be right back.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
All right, we're back. You're listening to the Shore Show here. Pat O'Meara on GGR Radio. Working on some glitches here. Probably do more of that when we get off the air. I think I'll get off the air in about another 10 minutes. So a little local here. Tom's River, one of the fine townships here in New Jersey. Mayor there is Dan Roderick. I think Dan is a good mayor, but Dan has no people skills. Dan has no bedside manner. Dan needs a buffer. He might need 2 buffer people. Because when Dan talks, he puts his foot right in his mouth and he just antagonizes people. His ideas are right. His delivery is awful. Recently, for whatever reason in the world of Dan Roderick, he wants to, I shouldn't knock him that way. He wants to develop Tom's River passive recreation. He wants to have like park space, open space, gazebos, that sort of thing. And one of the spots he was looking at happened to have a church on it. So Dan, now the church, listen, there could be a side to this too. The church also wanted to open a homeless shelter to accommodate about 20 beds. And Dan had a problem with the homeless community. And I'm not sure I'm against him on that. There is a lot of homeless situation in the municipal garage where they're setting up tents. They're hanging out at the county library. The Bon Jovi has his soul kitchen there. Dan's getting a lot of complaints from residents over that, and Dan's trying to take care of the needs of his residents. So Dan decides that he's going to possibly use eminent domain to take over this church property just before the election. Now, Dan was rolling pretty good. Now, there was a minority of people who had problems with Dan Roderick. But Dan won with like 70% of the vote. So you got that 20-30% that had an issue with Dan. Dan was always overcome that. But he stepped on the third rail with this church. And what happened there, the town actually turned on him, most of the town. The religious community of the town, they all had a problem with that. And Dan didn't exactly deal directly in the proper way with the church people. He was talking about dealing with them, I think, on Twitter. He was direct messaging them, that sort of thing. Election came, Dan's ticket lost, and Dan's tickets normally is win, but he stepped on that third rail. So Dan just recently decided that, I don't think the people in town want to use the eminent domain on the church. So the church is now saved. Justin Lamb and a few other people have paid the price for that, unfortunately. But I'm sure Lamb will land back on his feet. And it's going to be an interesting council meeting going forward because Dan no longer has the majority anymore. Another thing Dan started, he wants to recruit more PD, or he wants more police officers in Tom's River, which I applaud him. And all the municipalities would like to attract more police officers. But, the way society is now, it's very tough to be a police officer. Somehow they become the bad guys, and they're our first line of defense. They are the good guys. We should support them wholeheartedly. So Dan wants to attract more applicants for the police force. And one of the things in Tom's River is you got to have a college degree. And Dan Roderick says, no, you don't. You don't need to have a college degree, especially if you're a veteran. So Dan's putting the motion through that you don't need to be a college degree to be a police officer. Now, listen, if you want to ascend in the police force where you want to work your way up the ladder, having a degree wouldn't hurt. But to become a police officer, I think a high school diploma is fine. You got to go through the academy. You're going to do your time as the rookie cop, and you're going to be out there with the vet guy. I agree with Dan Roderick. You don't need a college degree to become a cop. You need the police training, and you'll get that at the academy. You'll get that from the senior police officers. And again, if you want to go further and further in the police, having a degree would help. There's a lot of people running around with degrees aren't in the field they got those degrees for. And a lot of people are running around with degrees that are paying through their nose for student loans right now. So, I agree with Dan Roderick. I know the prosecutor for Ocean County disagrees with that. But, certainly explain to me why. Why do I need a degree? Any degree. Could be anything you want. Political sciences, philosophy. They have a degree. You don't need that to become a cop. So I agree wholeheartedly with Dan on that. And you'll attract more applicants, and you can train them your way. Get them through the academy, get them with the senior officers, do that rookie, and stick them 2 or 3 years with a senior guy, and you'll get them trained the way you want. I think that's the ideal way to go for Tom's River. I tell you what, I know Dan Roderick now, I guess about 10 years. He's not a bad guy. He just has zero people skills. And if somebody could just get him to think before he talks, maybe think twice before he talks. But really what he needs is buffers. And he doesn't have good buffers. He needs a good PR guy around him. He needs a good spokesperson. He has none of that. And that's why he gets himself in trouble. The American Mall. We're talking about going to Seaside Heights for a vacation or weekend A lot of people go to the American Mall, but not enough, obviously. The American Mall missed another payment, a payment of $287 million. That's a lot of money. Now, that American Mall has bankrupt 2 developers already. It looks like it's on its way to a 3rd developer already. It just doesn't work. That's why we were talking about before about a casino in the Meadowlands. I don't think that works either. And if anything it does, will only take away from Atlantic City. But the American Mall, it's still a lot of vacancies there. For that matter, they just won a court case against the municipalities on their pilot payments because there are so many vacancies there. Obviously, this isn't working out. When this is the 2nd payment the American Mall has missed, I don't know if they're going to start foreclosing on them, but it's not a good situation. That's for damn sure. And this is the notice before we end the show here today. COVID-19 is kicking up again here in New Jersey. So you want to take whatever precautions you remember how to take from before. You know, I wish this thing would go bye-bye because that was such a devastating time here in New Jersey. You know, fortunately, I never got the COVID. But it hurt the studio, hurt the business, hurt me personally, hurt a lot of people. It changed the routines, changed the way we live our lives now here in New Jersey. Yeah, and you don't even realize we stepped into a different routine. Like going to the bank. You know, I was talking about before. I actually went to the bank when I was buying the camera. I wanted to make the deposit right into my account. I was going from TD Bank to TD Bank anyway, account. So it was going in like cash. I actually went into the bank. I haven't done that really since pre-COVID. And prior to COVID, I never did anything at the ATM. I always went up to the drive-up window or into the bank. Don't do that anymore. There's so many different routines that have changed from the pandemic. That's why so many businesses are gone now, because we changed our routine. Why so many restaurants are having a hard time, because you stopped going out for dinner during the pandemic. You know, some people learned how to cook, and now we're not going out for dinner, so you lost a lot of businesses. You look at Burger Kings and TGIFs and Applebee's. They're all struggling now because everything's post-pandemic. Everybody got into a different routine. So hopefully this isn't too bad of an upkick here in COVID-19. If you want to put those masks on again, remember those masks? I could never breathe in those masks. And it actually turned out they weren't doing us any good anyway. So the mask wasn't stopping anything. The COVID virus went right through the mask. But I'm not even sure. I got 2 shots and I got a booster. Hey, maybe that's why I have all these problems now. Maybe that's the reason I needed a stent. Who the hell knows? Who knows if this damn virus vaccine actually worked or not? But I got it. For that matter, we made a commercial of me getting the shot, and we had the nurse in my studio shooting me up when we were filming that, and we put that on the internet. So if you're concerned, I'm not getting a shot. I'm not getting any more shots. I don't have enough friggin' pills and stuff just from the stent and the blood thinners and every other damn thing they got me on now. And hopefully next month I would like to get my knees done. All right, as I was saying, we're getting out of show here. Seaside Heights, there is a lot to do. There's a lot of activity on the boardwalk. There are a lot of stands. You can win some stuffed animals. You can win some CDs, that sort of stuff. You don't have a good appliance stand anymore. That's where Dave Scott used to work at the casino. Now it's all candy there. It's good food up there. Yeah, the coffee. You got events all the time. You got the ocean view. You got the rides at the casino pier. You got JR's. You got Dante's cheesesteaks. You got the 2 cheesesteaks right off the boardwalk. Cheesesteaks unlimited. You got Berkeley candy. You got Lucky Leo's candy. There is so much Coors ice cream. There is a lot going on up there. Make it your plan. Take a ride down today. Take a ride down Saturday. Remember, if you're looking for a reasonable place to go on vacation for a week, it is Seaside Heights. You can get the room at the motels. They're going about $85 a night, or you could rent in a whole apartment for $180, and then you can do your cooking. You can save a lot. It balances out. But whatever your budget is, Seaside fits in it. All right. You're listening to the Shore Show Seaside Heights edition. I'm Pat O'Melia. Hopefully I'll talk to you again tomorrow as we work a few bugs out. Thank you for listening. Good night.